Welcome to the LTG show, up episode number 220. My name is Sean Wilburn.
And I'm Tony Hannity's.
And we are here to talk about technology and then latest technology news for the week. Now, we are part of a website called LazyTechGuys.com. It is a site that I think you should go ahead and visit, especially if you happen to have a computer in front of you or one of those little smart devices with those little touchscreen things on there. What do they call them? Like phones, right? Yeah. So if you happen to have one of those things, go ahead and type in LazyTechGuys.com. You get the latest news, video game news, and tech news, mobile news, and a lot more. Also, and reviews of products, some really, really great reviews that are linked to our YouTube account, which we'll tell you about, Lazy Tech TV, and our Twitter, Facebook, and all that. Now, comments at LazyTechGuys.com is our email. You can call us at 707-722-5299. Also, we love to hear from you there and leave a message. And it's a group line, so we all hear it. And hey, if it's really, really cool, we might even share it. All right. So to start off today's show, we are going to begin with Tony. How are you doing today, man?
Very good. How are you doing?
Very good. No, I like how we try to keep it nice and stiff. So
yeah, just keep it easy. I put into, not in our show notes, but into the description of what show we're going to talk about tonight's show. I wanted to give my first impressions of the YouTube Music Key, which is now available as a beta, because I sent my request to be invited to the beta back in November, and here we are in February, and I actually got the invite last night. And so I don't know if you've heard about this, Sean, but I think we talked about it many times. But
yeah, describe what the Music Key is.
Yeah, so on the side of how awesome it is and not so much how it can screw over some artists, Music Key allows you to watch music videos ad-free, and with the subscription, you can download those music videos offline. So when you're in an area where there's no internet whatsoever, or you just don't want to use your data connection to watch a specific video, you can still view those certain videos offline. And those offline videos will be saved and cached to your phone for a maximum, I think, of about 48 hours. Now, so to give another reason why this is cool, part of Music Key is you get Google Play Music All Access. I don't know if they changed the name of that or if they just call it All Access, but it's kind of like Google's version of Spotify. So for a monthly price of only $7.99, and mind you, I have a 6-month free trial, so the $7.99 is going to carry over to both Music Key and Google Play Music All Access. And right now, Google Play Music All Access is $10. So this is actually cheaper to get both. So you might as well try it and sign up for the beta just for this. To give you an idea, what's really cool about YouTube, so let's look at Sean Wilburn. Let's take a look at his one of his tracks that he did a really cool music video. It's called Searching. And Sean, I don't know if you know that you set this up or not, but over here in the right-hand corner, there's a little, I don't know if you guys can see it. The brightness is weird. There's a little download button right there.
Oh.
So I can click that, and now I'm downloading the video. So let's just say I'm underground in my bomb bunker, and I still want to listen to some smooth singing by Sean Wilburn. I can go over to on the YouTube menu, there's a little menu here that says offline, and these would be all the videos that I've saved offline, at least, again, for 48 hours. And finally, with the YouTube Music Key, when you go into Google Play Music All Access, if the song you're listening to through All Access has a corresponding music video, over the album art, you'll have the YouTube icon, and you can click that, and that will then open up the actual music video on YouTube, which is really cool. And then the one thing that that I use a lot, and at least my daughter uses a lot, by not default, but kind of by a pure coincidence, is the ability to listen to music without having to keep the screen on. So this is motionless in white. Screen off. We're still listening to it. Good song, by the way. So I don't know exactly like how it designates who can sign up for this, or again, if you signed up for it not knowingly, that people that subscribe to your channel can download them for offline use. That's a good thing or a bad thing. It's really up to you and how you feel about that. But for the type of uses that I have when it comes to this kind of like watching music videos on YouTube or listening to the music through YouTube, this is actually kind of a cool integration with that and Google Play Music All Access. So I don't know if I'll do an actual video review or audio review or anything about this, but yeah, for right now, I at least give it 1 thumbs up.
All right.
Aside from that, that's pretty much it.
So, I've been doing Google Music for what? Since
For at least like
late,
3 months now, right?
no, a little bit longer than that. Probably like
Has
about,
it?
yeah, probably like 4 or 5 months now, right?
Okay.
I subscribed to the Music Key and asked for the subscription. They let me in and immediately, like a week later. I've been in using that YouTube Music Key for the last month and a half.
Oh.
Dude, it's been awesome. You're
Oh, I
absolutely
didn't
right.
know that.
Every feature you said about that is absolutely correct. I absolutely love it, except
Oh.
for one feature about it, which is a benefit, but at the same time, it comes to a drawback. So if you are in the middle of playing a video and you realize I'm done with this video, you may try to stop the video and then leave. But if your YouTube did not register your stop before you hit back, the music will go to the background, and next thing you know, your video is playing in the background. So you have to slide down, reopen the video, or kill it by hitting the corner thing to do it. Now, that is the only thing that gets me, and that is because I'm moving faster than the YouTube app is, and that I blame on my phone.
You're moving faster than the speed of light, Sean. Don't do that.
But
We've
that
had
is
this discussion.
And then remember last week when we were talking about the Music Key and
Sean's faster than Google.
and remember last week we were talking about the music, the artist who's upset about how Google was strong-arming her into getting the music videos.
Right.
And then
Right.
now you're seeing what is happening with this. And there is one question. I don't think I got at this last time. Now, Google is making the assumption that the license that they have built and signed with the labels is good enough for the videos and the audio. And if the deals that they sign with the labels makes that true, then so be it. That's what it is. But if they did not sign that deal and the deal does not specify that and they're making that assumption wrongly, then eventually this will go to court and there probably will be a different fee. Now, if that does happen, the Music Key subscription and the Google Music subscription will probably be separated out, or the whole overall price will have to go up to accommodate both of them. But we'll see what happens. So, but anyway, but this want to let you know that is one factor we kind of have to think about. Anyway, what are you saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, we got other topics to talk about besides what we talked about last week.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Talk about what we're going to talk about this week. So let's start talking about what the heck happened to Radio Shack, Tony?
Well, truth be told, I mean, when's the last time you actually stepped foot into a Radio Shack and bought something at Radio Shack that you couldn't buy anywhere else?
Well, wait, before you close that rhetorical question, let's make that a real question. If you happen to be watching this or anything, and you happen to say so, our Q&A is open, so please join it and ask our question to our Q&A and tell us, when is the last time you went to Radio Shack and did that? Now, Tony, please.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you and I were talking pre-show and saying how Radio Shack is, it is the neighborhood electronics store, but the problem is in almost every neighborhood there's also a Best Buy or there's a Target or a Walmart. There's a lot of gentrification of these big box stores going everywhere, and because they're big box stores, their overall prices can be lower than places like Radio Shack. And unfortunately, it's coming down to the literally the wire now, where Radio Shack is looking like they're no longer going to be a corporation of any sort. Don't quote me on that, because there might be some little offshoots of Radio Shack, and there's still some talking of how Radio Shack might still survive. But the Radio Shack New York Stock Exchange said that they would suspend stock trading immediately. So if you had Radio Shack stock, because I know a lot of employees, I used to work for Radio Shack, so I know a lot of employees have Radio Shack stock. It's kind of part of the 401k or whatever, and that would that basically kind of screws them over with those stocks that they have. Hopefully they were able to get them out. And it looks like Radio Shack, with their over 4,000 retail locations here in the United States, companies like Sprint and Brookstone are discussing that they might want to buy between 1,300 to 2,000 of those stores, and even a company that doesn't have any kind of brick and mortar uh, facility or presence, thank you, is Amazon is possibly thrown their name into the bidding game, the bidding war of buying up these locations. Now, having Sprint have more stores, that's understandable. Having Brookstones have more stores, that's a little weird because I think it might go by the way of Sharper Image if they do that. Again, Brookstone is kind of like the high-end gadget nut store, but for the most part, people just go in there to try out the really cool $4,000 massage chairs. I mean, that's what I do. But then Amazon. This was an interesting turn of events when I heard that Amazon might be throwing their hat into the ring, but it does kind of make sense. The fact that a lot of general consumers use the big box stores like Best Buy, like Radio Shack, as a form of showcasing the products before they buy them on Amazon, it would, in a sense, be in Amazon's best interest to be right there in the physical form. So if someone does say, oh, you know what, I love this TV, or I love this blender, this new wave oven, which I bought, I'll go ahead and buy it on Amazon. And then the Amazon rep says, well, actually, we are Amazon, so you can buy it with me right now with your Prime membership. So you'll still get it either right now if we have it in the back room, or you'll get it in 1 day instead of 2 days. I mean, they'll have to do something to make it more enticing for the consumer and enticing for the business overall. But it's weird that they've kind of flipped, and I don't know, Radio Shack might have more of an online presence, and Amazon might have more brick and mortar presence. So what do you think, Sean?
I just think it'd be kind of cool if they make Amazon stores, especially like Apple stores. But what if they were just thinking, well, we want to make Amazon stores. We need so many locations, and these places, half of these are in great locations. So we'll shut down half of them because we really don't need these. We like when they're really redundant. But then we get the ones in different places. We put a little small store, have a couple fires and a couple of our products there. But then you have also a place where you can ship product to, where people don't want to have stuff shipped to their front door. They can have it shipped to the Amazon store. It's sort of like the UPS store. You can have a place where they'll probably sell small knickknacks and things that they can make a lot of profit on, or maybe a little bit of overflow that's coming in through their warehouses. Maybe they will keep on with these small accessory things with the cables. Maybe they'll get into that game and just have cables for like $1 all the time because they're making so much money. They're just throwing them on the wall and making a killing on them. I think they could really do some damage with this if done right. I don't know how well it would be, like, for example, if they did open the store, considering all the competition out there, but you never know. I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think if, like I was saying earlier, having the Prime membership being an enticing, method of gaining more Amazon customers and repeat customers, that would be something to really put forth in the Amazon brick and mortar store, saying that, if you, instead of shipping your stuff to your house, ship it here, and we'll make next day shipping $2 instead of $5 or whatever it is. So we'll definitely see what comes out in the next month or so, because I don't think, well, we might find out in the next couple of weeks, but yeah, we'll definitely find out. That's for sure.
I think it'll be probably sooner than that, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, now we've been talking a lot about net neutrality and the different stance on it, and it looks like there's been another update on the latest thing going on with it. So where are we at now with it, Tony?
Well, this is also according to reports, but it looks like on Thursday, FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler might actually join a lot of public demand, or I'm not sure what the word is, but they might classify, the FCC might actually lobby to classify the internet as a public utility using Title II. So what this would mean is that there would be, this is definitely more in favor of net neutrality, but it would be a government mandated public utility similar to gas and electricity, things like that. And but it would disallow anything like carriers and ISPs charging consumers for internet fast lanes. The question is, does this also coincide with peering? So we talked about last year how Netflix pays Comcast directly for peering priority. And at first we were all like, "Oh my God, look, there's the perfect example of a company having to pay priority just to get their content onto Comcast or something." That the peering agreements like that are very common. So, but the question is, if this does get mandated as a Title II public utility, will these peering agreements be dissolved, or are they not going to be affected at all? So I think the biggest thing that a lot of the tech people were hearing is that there's not going to be any kind of cause of fast laning. So the whole idea that there's a slow internet and then there's a fast internet for the companies that can pay more to the ISPs to get their stuff out there. So like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon would be able to pay Comcast and Verizon. So you as the consumer would be able to get the highest bit rate of the video and the audio and things like that. But up and coming startups or not too big companies who can't afford to pay, they would be on the slower internet, which would make you, the consumer, say, "Oh, I'm not going to use dog food music because they're crap. Their audio is crap. I'm definitely going to use Spotify." And they might have the exact same technology, but just because dog food music doesn't have the ability to pay to get into the fast lane, they're going to lose customers. If this is agreed upon, that issue will not happen.
Okay.
What will happen, and a colleague of mine brought this to my attention, is that um, basically this is going to be another thing that is going to be very strongly regulated by the government. Although the public has been clamoring for net neutrality, in his opinion, doing it as a public utility is not the best way. And one thing that he pointed out to me that I was not really aware of, but it does make sense. The the fact that this is going to be a more of a government mandated issue, they could raise taxes to keep it afloat and things like that. So I don't know. Um, at first I was all gung ho about it, but then after I talked with him, I was like, oh well, you do bring up a few good points. What do you think?
Change. I think that the internet got big, and when something gets really really big, like let's take football for example. If it was just a bunch of people and maybe two or four teams, you probably wouldn't have that much regulation, that many referees doing anything crazy. If you go up to, thanks for the heads up on that. All right, I'm always fuzzy, and there I am. All right, so sorry, best I can do. If you take the anyway, if you take the, where was I going with this entire thing? Thanks a lot for the notes there, Tony. The internet was good. Look, oh yeah, football. Let's take football. When it was if it was four teams and they probably didn't have that many rules, and it became eight teams. They probably said, "Oh, we gotta get more rules. We gotta get this organized." At some point, when the thing became so big and so many people were into it, they probably say, "Hey, we really gotta take control of this. We gotta have rules and regulations so people don't get hurt and all that." And everything gets that way. When you take a group of people, at first they're just hanging out when they're trying to get something done. When it gets too many people, at some point you have to start organizing. At some point, when you get even bigger than that, you have to start making changes. And the internet has absolutely gotten to the point where it is a necessary and a very vital part of the society that we live in, at least in the United States and other developed countries. And it's going to be something very important to undeveloped countries because companies like Google and many others are going out there trying to get internet to other parts of the world. This is a big deal about communication. It's huge for the results that we get. And I realize that my levels have dropped really, really significantly. And let's see if we can get it back going again. And I don't know. All right, well, there we go. So, much better? No, no. Okay. All right, so something happened to my levels. There we go. Can you hear me now? Thank you. All right, I apologize for everybody for having to listen to that. Either way, it was very insightful and very important. Anyway, so Tony, I can't hear you. You're muted.
It was definitely what I heard. I agree with your analogy
Ethan,
with football
quick
and
summary.
whatnot.
Things got too big, people had to organize. And the internet has gotten too vital to the organization. And unfortunately, in the way our country is built, I don't know if the utility is the right way. I don't know if the utility is the wrong way. I I am, there are much smarter people than me at this. So figure it out, everybody. Hopefully, just don't screw us in the deal. And everybody, yes, it's going to change. All of our lives are going to change when they figure it out. All of our bills are going to change. They may all go up. They may all go down. Who knows? Everything will get changed. It's going to upset something. It will happen every time something changes. People get messed up in something, but I don't. It's just how things work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Now we got our levels right, and we're sounding the way we're supposed to sound. Let's talk about war. Let's talk about fighting. Let's talk about competition, because this is America, and in America we like to have competition. And apparently Google is developing another competitor against Uber, which is a competitor against traditional taxis. So, all right, what we got?
Okay, so for those who don't know, Google Ventures is one of Uber's biggest investors. They've invested around $258 million into Uber, and we've seen the use of Uber in Google Maps. I think it's also in Google now. But Google Maps, when you're looking at routes and seeing how fast it would take to get from A to B. If you have the Uber app installed on your phone, it'll also tell you how fast it would take you if you used Uber. And so that's really cool. And so, from that standpoint, it's like, okay, Google and Uber, they're buddy-buddy. They're working with each other. But from a report that came out earlier today, according to Bloomberg Business News, David Drummond, who's Google's chief legal officer and senior vice president of corporate development, he actually joined Uber's board of directors back in 2013, and he continues to serve on it. But he actually showed Uber's board of directors a Google application on his phone that is basically a ride-sharing application. So from that, it looks like from the top level, it looks like they are competing with one another, because Uber is in all accounts, they are ride sharing. They're not a taxi service, they're a ride sharing service, because it's the car that the Uber driver is using is their own car. But then Google getting into that business seems to be like they are competing against Uber. But according to somebody else, they said that, oh no, that ride-sharing application that Drummond showed them is just an internal application that Google employees are just using with each other, just so, if I'm going to Palo Alto and you're going to Palo Alto and we both have the app, we can both say, hey, Sean and Tony are going to Palo Alto, let's go pick up Andrew and we can all go to Palo Alto, all through the app instead of using Uber. And but again, this is all kind of like speculative and rumor mongering, but it's interesting because I wouldn't put it past Google. I wouldn't put it past Google to look at a giant at like Uber in that field, say, hey, we funded them, they had a great thing going. I don't know if we can buy them, but let's see if we can do something one better than Uber. But that's not all. Uber has been reported to be testing their own autonomous vehicle technology in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They've actually.
So right back at you, Google.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've actually hired a bunch of scientists, even from Carnegie Mellon University, and they have a research facility in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, maybe one day you'll pull up, your Uber app and say, I want to go to, I don't know, the Bud's Burgers down on Sonoma
you are
Boulevard.
so from Vallejo, bro.
Oh
You are
yeah.
so from Vallejo to say that.
But I can't go
Why can
because
I not go to
I
Bud's
can't
Burger?
go because I'm inebriated and I don't. No one else is here to pick me up. I can
Ouch.
pull up Uber, and a driverless car will come and get me. And yeah,
Dude, a
I
Bud's
mean, with
Burger will
that, I
be
mean
so
that's
far away from
something that we've all talked about. That yeah, eventually, when you call a taxi, it will more than likely, in like 30 years,
you. Oh
40
my God.
years, it will more than likely be a driverless car. At least one of the options that you can choose. Maybe there'll be an option. Do you want a driver or not a driver? But then there's also talks that maybe this is just, it is what it is in regards to just research, and maybe Uber will sell this data back to Google, or they'll sell the data to one of the car manufacturing companies in Detroit, and see what they can do with that. So I just think it's funny that this kind of came about, like just like what you said, Sean, like Goober. I'm gonna call it Goober. Google says there's that report that Google might be going after Uber, and Uber's like, no, we're firing back. We're going after your cars. It's like, all right,
Hey, you know what? Keep friends. What is it? Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
enemies closer. Yeah.
Maybe that's really what they're down to. And yes, a comment from the Andrew Lee gallery, the Google Gilded Tour with the camera cat. I don't know what that means, but I
Camera
think the
car.
camera car. Oh God, this is called. Where are my glasses? Where are my
There's no
glasses?
cats involved. I
Well,
know this is
actually,
the internet, Sean, but we don't talk about cats on this
yes, we
show.
do. We talk about cats because the world talks about cats. The
Oh
world
God,
loves cats. They like pie too.
I can't stand cats.
What about pies? Really? You don't like cats at all?
No, I love cats, but I'm allergic to them. That's why.
Oh, okay, got it. So it's not that you really want to. Does that mean every cat you see wants to go to you?
No, thank God.
Okay. Well, just so you know, I
Stay
don't hate
away.
cats. I don't hate cats. I'm not indifferent. I'm cool with them. They're there. They have too much hair. It just kills me. I'm like, ugh. But besides that part of it all, every single one sees me. It's like, oh, sweet. I'm like, oh God, lap. It's like, oh God,
All
just
right.
So
You want to take a break real quick?
nah, okay. Let's take a break here. Then we'll talk about some pie. We'll talk
Pies.
about some.
Oh,
Oh, actually,
that was your transition. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
that-
We'll talk about pies in a second.
yes, we're gonna talk about pies in a second. Though I personally thought pies were coming up. We're also gonna talk about drones. We're gonna talk about Microsoft investing in Android. Yeah, we kept a really good one for you that. And some
Woo!
serious changes happening to Sony's online services and selling off studios and things like that. So, before we do so, let's thank our sponsor, which is audible.com. Now, we want you to please visit that URL, which is audibletrial.com/lazy. If you do so, you get a chance to sign up. Well, not get a chance to, you get sign up for 30 days to check out their service. Now, part of the deal is when you're a member is you get a free book in the deal. So you get a chance to listen to a professionally read audiobook, which can be most of the books out there you can find, actually pretty much any of them. And you can go ahead and get a free copy. You listen to it, you hear a professional read a story, and it will fit into your busy lifestyle. That way, so while you're running around, or if you're on the radio, because who listens to the radio anymore? In reality, we all listen to podcasts. Well, this is another great solution. So on the way to work, you listen to the LTG show. On the way back from work, you start putting it on your audiobook, and in that way, you get everything really, really great. Now, you also get discounts on other books. So if you find another book that's of interest to you, go ahead and pick that up. You save a few bucks on that. And there's like over 150,000 books to choose from that you happen to have your pocket, your computer, and more. It's really, really cool. So please visit audibletrial.com/lazy. Sign up for 30 days. And when you do, you will, and apparently I'm getting crackly again, sign up for 30 days, and afterwards you will, well, enjoy quite a great. So thank you again, audibletrial.com/. All right. So
Yeah, so your levels are a little low, but I'll go ahead and talk about pies because pies are pretty awesome. But one form of pie that a lot of us tech nerds really enjoy is the Raspberry Pi. And announced on Monday, the Raspberry Pi 2 is available to purchase for only $35. So for those of you who don't know what the Raspberry Pi is, it's like a little microprocessing computing device. And it's great for the makers that are out there. And ironically, the fact that this is becoming a very popular means of getting, even kids into computing. Places like Radio Shack used to sell stuff like this, like back in the 70s and the 80s, for makers and people that like to build their own computers and stuff. And at Radio Shack, I know they sell the Arduino, whatever. They sell that, but I think they also sell the Raspberry Pi. But you can't go to Radio Shack anymore, I guess, in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. But anyways, the new Raspberry Pi 2, to kind of let you know what's going on with it, it has a new Broadcom 900 megahertz quad-core processor, SoC, with 1 gig of RAM. It actually performs 6 times faster than the original B+. And this also has a Video Core 4 GPU, a single-core 32-bit ARM 1176JZFS application, and it has an ARM V7 Cortex-A processor, and it has, I think, 3 USB connections, 8 Ethernet and HDMI. It's got micro USB, micro SD input, and if you're the type of person that just wants to know, hey, I want to get into like building my own like microcomputer, or I just want to get into like building stuff, I don't know where to start. This is a great way to start, a great place to start, and there's a lot of places online where you can find tutorials. Lynda.com is a great place to learn about the Raspberry Pi. I know Twit, they have a show called Know How, and they talk about the Raspberry Pi a little bit on that. But I'm a nerd, but I'm not this like geeky when it comes to like building stuff, and I don't want to blame my lack of time to it. So I'll go ahead and blame my lack of time. But have you ever been interested in doing this kind of stuff, Sean?
No.
Okay. Great.
Not at all. Okay. No, I'm sorry. Yes. That is a little bit beyond anything of what I could comprehend, think of, and consider. So how's it sound now?
I'm glad that Ed asked the question. Thank you very much for the question, Ed. The Raspberry Pi, well, first of all, one thing that came out from Microsoft is that the Raspberry Pi will be able to support Windows 10 when Windows 10 comes out, and it supports Linux. And so, yeah, theoretically, you could put Android on there. I don't know what version of Android that you would want on there. Maybe somehow work it with Android Wear, or I guess the new version of Android 5.0 Lollipop, but I don't see why not. I do know that it also will ship with Ubuntu, or at least you can put it on there. I don't know. Again, I don't know how that stuff works, but I know at least Ubuntu and Windows 10 will be applicable to this particular device, and it's kind of fitting its way into the whole Internet of Things. But yeah, for $35, and they are going pretty fast. So yeah, let us know what you can come up with.
All right, can you hear me now? Levels okay?
Yeah, you were okay just a moment ago as well.
All right, so I don't know about the Android support. I'm looking now just in general as a search there, and it looks like people have kind of done it themselves. I don't know if there'll be any.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like officially Android 5.0. It's going to probably be some sort of like boot that you have to, in essence, like throw some sort of ROM on there, or some sort of, you're tricking the bootloader to like load whatever you want, and then say, oh, well, load up to this, and it's Android Lollipop.
So, in other words, for the people who would be buying this, what the kind of stuff they
would know how to do that, yeah.
Got it. All right. So, in other words, hey, yeah, go ahead and put Android on it. Have no problem, bro. Go ahead and do what you want to do.
I mean, when I went to the Twit Brick House, somebody had an old NES um, game system. I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, that's cool. You're playing games." He's like, "I can play whatever I want. This is just the actual box of the NES, but inside I've mounted a Raspberry Pi as an emulator. So he emulates games from NES, Super NES, Nintendo 64. And he had pretty much everything. He even had some Sega Genesis games that he was emulating, but it was just the NES box that was very nostalgic looking and whatnot. So, I mean, there's a crap ton that you can do with this, and the sky is really the limit. And what's really great is because it's so inexpensive, schools are buying this for their kids that have a computer robotics program and introducing this kind of stuff at an early age instead of later on in life when you get to our age and it's like I don't have time.
Well, good, because they need to know. All right, so level's still good. Checking.
Yeah, levels are still good. So
So just so anyone knows, I on my end I cannot hear any crackling or any issues on the audio. So if there's a problem on the crackling, they have to notify me and I have to check with them. So I cannot hear it, they have to notify me. So just so anyone is wondering why we keep going back to my left earphones. Can you hear me? Can you hear me in my left earphone?
yeah. So also I just want to point out, Ed asked, where can you buy it? Element 14 is sold out. According to this website, RS, I don't think that stands for Radio Shack, but they're based out of UK, and you can buy a Raspberry Pi for £24 and 90 pence. I don't know what the equivalent of that in dollars are. And even they're sold out too. And it says that they will have about 1,400 units coming in before Thursday, February 5th. So,
The next 2 days.
Ed, I'm talking to you, bro. If you want, just go to rs-online.com and look at just type in Raspberry Pi 2 Model B, and hopefully that will pop up and you'll get the correct kit, and you can just bookmark it there. But I'm sure Element 14 is going to do the same thing. So if you can wait a few days, just keep an eye out.
Awesome.
All right, Sony.
All right.
I don't
So
have a good
now,
transition.
all right. So we go for Pi, then we go to some. Well, I would say we should go to some Spotify, but unfortunately, that's the topic after that. So
Yeah, but it's just
Sony. So
it's,
a couple of weeks ago, we were talking. Andrew was talking. Sony. We were talking about Sony Online Entertainment. Their release of H1Z1, which is their zombie survival like game that they just released, and they were having some problems, and they were funding some money, and they were trying to do all that, and then well, out of the blue, it turns out that Sony Online Entertainment has now gone independent away from Sony. So now they are changing their names to Daybreak Game. There's a screen moves faster than my thing. Daybreak Game Company. And with this, they are now owned by an investment firm. And with this investment firm, they're going to completely go multi-platform, including going PC, Xbox, and mobile games. And they are now ready for exciting developments and ready to embrace the multi-platform world and try out new games. Now, my first question when I saw this was, what about H1Z1 and EverQuest? Because those are games that happen to be done by Sony Online Entertainment. And from what I'm able to tell, it seems like they will not be working on those properties. It seems like Sony kept the properties in the deal, but I am been looking for information. I was on their official forum going down it, and it looks like they're saying it's the general consensus seems to be that these games will be being supported by somebody else, or they're not going to be working on these games anymore. So I don't know how that's going to fare for EverQuest or any other games that they've made over the years. And I'm still looking, but at the same time, if they are going to support the games, I hope so. Maybe for a short time, maybe that'll be part of the deal of the buyout or something like that. But this is official. Sony Online Entertainment is now Daybreak Games. They're going to be making a whole new set of games and a whole new setup of stuff. So good luck to them. More power to them. I hope they're able to pull it off, make some great games on whatever platforms, and knock it out the park. So Tony, anything to add? Or are you pretty?
Yeah, this isn't my forte, but I just looked up on on Google, will Daybreak Games support H1Z1, and no one has a definitive answer.
So yeah, that is a big question, and it's H1Z1, and like there's a lot of games that they made. I think EverQuest and that H1 is there's just the big ones now. So I think if Sony still owns the properties, they're probably going to find another studio and hire them to get to work on it.
I don't know. Wikipedia is not like my main source of like info, obviously, but whoever maintained this changed it, so it does say H1Z1 is a zombie survival MMO sandbox game in development by Daybreak Game Company. So it's still in development.
So who owns it? So if they own it, then they're good to go. Good.
Yeah.
Good. So maybe if they sold some online entertainment, they kept all the IPs. That would be great for EverQuest and all those. That would be awesome. So either way, just keep your eyes open for them. If you like their games, that's what their new title is, and hopefully it'll be something really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's not it from Sony.
No. So then they decided to go ahead and take the axe and destroy their Music Unlimited software. So they are getting out of the music game, but not really. No, they're not getting out of it. They are actually partnering with Spotify and creating PlayStation Music. So they're essentially doing away with, I guess, their backbone and their contracts and their deals with the music company that make all this happen. And what it seems to be, they're making a new forefront where you pay Sony, and Sony will give you a link to Spotify's content, and on seems to be Sony devices and more. Which seems to be pretty cool. Yes, Tony?
Yeah, so on March 29th, the Music Unlimited service will cease to exist across 19 countries. But then, as you mentioned earlier, 41 territories, including North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and more, will get this new Sony PlayStation Music service. But not all of the countries that got axed out of the Music Unlimited service will get it. So if you are one of those countries, and I don't have an example, you might cease to get Music Unlimited on March 29th, and all the countries around you might get this new Sony PlayStation music service, but you might not. So I'm sure as time goes on, they will have a more definitive list of what countries are getting this service and which ones aren't. But Sean, because I was asking you, how is this beneficial? You mentioned something that was pretty cool, and I don't see in this particular article, but the fact that you would be able to play Spotify while playing a different game.
Yeah, that was somewhere else. Hang on, let me find that. Spotify. Delay for a sec. Let me go find it.
Okay, so Super Bowl was crazy. My wife and I went on our sixth year
awesome
anniversary.
And crazy.
Yeah. We went to Black Angus and spent more money than we needed to for good steaks. John?
All right, then you saw an awesome game, an incredible game with a very, very incredible, ending. And me repping this team behind me, and for all the people out in Seattle who are watching this, I am sorry, but you see this. I'm just going to smile. I'm going to put it back, and we're going to get to the topic here. So the answer to the questions, it would seem to be said on the official PlayStation blog, knowing how you can also use Spotify while playing games on the PS4, enabling you to soundtrack your gaming sessions with your favorite songs in the background.
That's pretty cool. So when you're recording for Twitch, for example, that will be recorded in the background, right?
Yes, it will. So
how do you think? And we've talked about this in the past, like. How do you think it's going to be like when you're listening to Rage Against the Machine while playing like BioShock or something? I don't know, PlayStation 4 game. Mm-hmm. And do you think that they would block the audio because the Rage Against the Machine's label doesn't want you to do that? Or
It's entirely possible. Who knows? That will. I think when that road will cross that road, but it probably will happen. I mean, they have software to be able to catch that stuff and kill it. So
Yeah.
I
We
would.
have a question from the Peanut Gallery, Mr. Andrew Lee. Will the new service only limit to what Spotify offers in content?
We don't know much about the new service. What we do know is that they're pretty much tapping into the content of Spotify. Let me get back to it right
Yeah, I
now.
mean, from
They
what I
actually
can
had it
tell,
listed
you'll
here.
have to have a Spotify premium account for this to even
Mm-mm.
work.
No, no.
No, you won't?
Free accounts also. You have to deal with the ads, but free accounts too. Yeah,
Okay.
let me go back
I
to.
take that back.
Yeah, no, that was also shocking. We were like, you're kidding. Free accounts too? Oh my God, why would you not use this? So I mean, if the way they're positioning this and the way I'm gonna say, where is it? The new service launches on these. Of course, you'll be able to listen to your favorite playlists.
Will you have to be a plus subscriber though?
Nah, that we don't know. Hang on a sec here.
Yeah, that's
The
from the
wireless
IGN article. That's what they're not sure, and I wasn't sure if you knew more information on that.
music. Yeah, so there. I mean, everyone keeps saying, here it goes. Will those who don't have a Spotify subscription be able to listen to music with ads? Yes, both versions of Spotify, free and premium, will be available when we launch Spotify on PlayStation Music. Nope, it seems like they're not tying it into PlayStation Plus at all.
Okay.
This is straight. They're just putting Spotify on there.
Cool.
All right. Also, now the reason why they're doing this is they're trying to rebrand all their PlayStation services. Now, one thing the CEO said, I think at CES this year, or they've been saying that they want to do is use the strength of the PlayStation brand to enhance other services. Like Tony, I think we mentioned this here. PlayStation 4 is doing extremely well for them, and why not use the word PlayStation to sell more stuff? Like it's like Microsoft did it with
Yep.
Xbox years ago,
And
and
they're
many
doing
other
it with
companies.
MSN now too.
Really? Again?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. So I did not catch that. All right. So it looks like they're doing that also with all their PlayStation stuff. So they're rebranding everything. They're gonna have PlayStation Video, which is that video, pretty much that video on demand stuff they used to do. PlayStation Music we talked about. The PS Now, which is the subscription stuff. They're still talking about the View, which is their TV cable service, which I don't know. They said that they're going to be test marketing it in some very markets, and the one markets is in New York, and I happen not to be in New York. So hey, if they happen to be test marketing out there and you heard anything about it, let us know. I'm very curious if you have any experience with it. Yeah, I know you probably can't say anything, but just say yes. I can't say anything, but yes, we are test marketing it, and just that would be enough for me just to know that they're actually moving through with this. But comments at lazytechguys.com. Anyway, so yeah, so but they're rebranding all that stuff, and I think they're also continuing on. Now, one very interesting thing, and it will go on, is before the buyout of Gaikai, before Sony did all this stuff, and what kind of became what all this has become. Um, they were working out Gaikai was working out a deal with Samsung to have Gaikai put on Samsung televisions. Now it looks like a deals have been made between Sony, where it's PlayStation Now, and all these services will probably make it into Samsung products also. So we'll see how all that turns out, if they can get the ones and zeros and the pins and the suits and everybody to agree to how this all should play out. So yeah, new PlayStation stuff. Now, Microsoft is investing in an anti-Android, no, well, a rogue Android startup here. What do we got going on there, Tony?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know Cyanogen Inc., Cyanogen Mod was and continues to be a very popular ROM distributor, manufacturer. They basically make ROMs to put on top of Android. So if you look at the different skins that are built by HTC or LG or Samsung, TouchWiz is a great example. The vast majority of the Android community does not like TouchWiz. They complain that it's laggy. They complain there's a bunch of bloat apps that they never use. So with the very easily know-how, well, maybe not easy, but with the know-how of taking out TouchWiz and replacing that kind of experience with Cyanogen's mod, you can literally make the phone to whatever specifications that you want, which is kind of the whole idea of an open source ecosystem and operating system. As the years have gone on, Google has actually locked down a lot of those things, so it's not as open as people might think it is. And Cyanogen, which used to be very much of a developer-friendly, community kind of based, quote-unquote company, they went private, and they're now Cyanogen Inc. And most recently on the OnePlus One, it is their ROM, it is their mod that is on the OnePlus One that you can find in China, America, not India apparently. It's Micromax phones that are in India that have CyanogenMod mod. And you know, they're a business now. They're looking to make money. And most recently, the CEO of Cyanogen Inc. Said that they're looking to take away Android from Google, and that is a completely different kind of conversation. But the whole idea is they want to bring back the whole Android openness to the community, whereas right now Google's Android is getting to be kind of like Apple. It's very closed. It's very much like you have to get the best experience, you need Google. If you go to China and you pick up an Android phone and there's no Android apps, like there's no Google Play Store, there's no Gmail, there's no Google Maps, there's no YouTube, yeah, you could sideload that stuff, but it's not the best experience. You would have to be using some random Chinese third-party app store or GetJar or just a lot of kind of not shiesty, but scary app stores that you may or may not want to dive into. And so Kurt McMaster, awesome last name by the way, he's the chief executive of Cyanogen.
I thought the same thing. I was like, that's a great last name. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so they're looking to raise about a lot of money, and it looks like Microsoft is a minor investor of around, I think they said $70 million. And so at first glance, you might think, why would Microsoft, the competing company to Google on Android, be investing into this ecosystem? Well, first of all, you have to understand Microsoft is no longer Windows first, it's just Windows best. And that's not my wordage, that's theirs. That's their whole mentality, but it's cloud first. And the cloud consists of everything that's out there, even competing ecosystems, and that's why you'll find Microsoft Office and Outlook and OneNote on iOS and Android. And sometimes not only is it first on iOS and Android, sometimes it can be better on iOS and Android because that's where the market is. And so that's because that's where the market is. They need to invest in those areas, and having Google invest into Cyanogen, it's a possibility that maybe they'll use Microsoft technology or Microsoft APIs within Cyanogen's mods in the future. How that might be foreseen, I don't know. Maybe instead of using Google Keep, which is Google's note-taking app, you'll have Microsoft's OneNote built into Cyanogen mod. Maybe instead of using Google Maps, you'll have Nokia's Here Maps. I know Nokia's Here Maps has nothing to do with Microsoft. I'm just saying, using that as an example. And someone else brought to my attention that there's the rumor, and I don't think it's a rumor. I think it's true that for every handset that's sold, because it's Microsoft's technology, it's their code that's within Android, they get a little royalty for pretty much every handset that's sold. So there's kind of a back and forth between Android and Microsoft, but another thing that Microsoft has under their belt that Cyanogen doesn't is an app store. You might argue that Microsoft App Store isn't the greatest, but that has nothing to do with the technology of the App Store. That's just developers not putting their apps in the App Store. The App Store themselves are arguably very good in regards to searching, trending apps, top paid apps, easy to maneuver through. I could show you here, but I won't bother. So it's going to be interesting if this is true. This is still one of those reports. We have a lot of reports tonight. We don't have a lot of definitive, except for the Sony stuff, but we don't have a lot of definitive things where we can say, yes, this guy said this, and it's signed in blood. But I think this is not too off base for Microsoft to do. They just launched a new app on Android, which is a new lock screen. I forget what it's called. I think it's Picaresque?
Rather than Piscaris.
Piscaris. But yeah.
That would be pretty bad if they named it that. They wouldn't do
I'm sorry, but I have to know. Picturesque.
There you go. That makes a lot of sense.
Picturesque, yeah. Sorry, but yeah, I don't know. This is cool. Companies, companies like Microsoft, they, 2 years ago, yeah, we wouldn't have ever seen this under Ballmer's reign, but it's a different Microsoft now, and the fact that they're developing for Android Wear, they're developing for Android and iOS, it's not too far off base to see that they're doing this. Now, I don't necessarily think that this means that Microsoft is abandoning Windows Phone. Windows 10 comes out later on this year, and the phone version of Windows 10 will be unveiled later on this month in February. So we'll see more exactly like what Windows 10 on phones is going to look like. But they're not abandoning Windows on the phone. But this would just expand their so-called portfolio in the mobile front to more people.
Awesome. All right, real fast.
Finally.
Hey, actually, real quick. After you do this, I actually found some other information, so I just want to add to the show. Just like a little small topic here.
Okay.
I just found it a minute ago. I was like, oh, interesting. I'm researching this real quick here.
Is it something on a topic that we already talked about, or is it new?
Somewhat new. No, new. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk about this really quickly. You like drones. I like drones. Andrew likes drones. Andrew's going to buy me a drone, and hopefully he'll buy me a DJI drone because those are probably the best ones on the consumer market that are out there. They're like $400, I think. So, and he's got a GoPro that he can give me too. So that's all good. But DJI, one of their, I think it was a Phantom or Phantom 2, actually crash landed on the front lawn of the White House earlier on Monday, and apparently the person that was controlling it was inebriated. I don't know, or whatever the case is. I think he was just let off with a slap on the wrist, but. Now DJI is actually forcing a mandatory firmware update. So the Phantom 2, the Phantom 2 Vision, and the Phantom 2 Vision Plus will not be allowed to fly in the Washington, D.C. airspace whatsoever. Now, if you think, oh, how are they able to do that? Well, they're already able to do that with their technology because you can't fly these in airspace around airports. So they're able to block that. And as Sean, as you mentioned earlier, this no-fly zone was just a matter of time. So it's about a 25-kilometer or 15.5-mile radius in all directions in Washington, D.C. So it's good that Washington's not coming down with an iron fist, just saying no drones whatsoever. They're just saying, okay, here on Capitol Hill, let's put the drones away. We don't want a drone. We don't want we don't want foreign diplomats coming in for a visit and they see a drone and think like someone's spying on them. Or crashing down and possibly killing them because the DJI drones they're big and they can hurt if you get hit with one.
I don't even want to think about that. It sounds like
yeah. Apparently one of the editors over at The Verge almost hit somebody. They have an article about it.
Watch out, y'all. Anyway. So.
Four.
So before we end it off, apparently
drone. Sorry.
As we're ending off, I just saw that apparently the Sony Q3 financial reports just came in. I guess it came in at 10 o'clock tonight. So literally right before we started meeting, they got released. So it looks like I guess the impressive number is, I guess overall, did they make it in the black? Yeah, Sony made it. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because of the parentheses. It seems like they did pretty good, like pretty positive. They shipped 6.4 million PlayStation 4s in 3 months. That's just a lot of freaking consoles, dude.
Yeah.
And they sold 147 million pieces of software in that 3 months. Holy crap. Oh, and yeah, here's the last thing. I was figuring out these numbers. Apparently, their net sales was 1.290 trillion yen, which translates to $10 billion in that one quarter. In just the Sony Computer Entertainment.
Okay.
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah, they killed. Holy crap. All right, yeah. Anyway. All right, so let's end the show here. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. I apologize for any levels that we may have had, any issues in here for anyone listening. But just so you know, all these podcasts are also recorded in pure audio format, and audios are all placed on our website, which is lazytechguys.com, or also on many podcast networks, including things like Stitcher. So go ahead and look us up on all those places, Lazy Tech Guys, and you will find it. You'll be able to listen to it, and any little errors or any weird stuff that you may have heard, they're not happening there. Everything is as clear as day. You can hear the conversation, and definitely find us and subscribe to us over on any of those services. Now, if you want to email us, comments at lazytechguys.com is where you can email us. Call us at 707-722-5299, which is 722-LAZY. You can find us on Facebook under facebook.com/Lazy Tech Guys, Twitter, look up Lazy Tech Guys, and same for Google+. Now, for our YouTube integration, YouTube, we use Lazy Tech TV. Our illustrious Andrew does a lot of videos there, as well as we do video reviews and many other things there. So go ahead and check out Lazy Tech TV. Subscribe to that channel. Awesome. Tony, anything else here you want to say before we end this show?
No, we have a giveaway coming up, actually. Yeah, so if you're into Halo, keep your eye out, because it's not the game. I'm telling you right now, it's not the game. But if you're into Halo, or if you're into artwork that has to do with Halo or anything like that, keep your eye out on LazyTechGuys.com and definitely Lazy Tech TV, because we'll be doing the announcement on the giveaway there. We've got a couple of reviews coming out. I've got this, I don't know if you can see it, this power block from Noontech, sorry, power block from Noontech that I'm reviewing in my messy desk here. But if you can follow all my stuff on Twitter, LTG Tony, or definitely here on Google Plus, Tony Hannity's, or just find all my accounts on about.me/tninja3000.
Awesome. All right, so, and with that, if you want to see me up, Sean Wilburn, find me, look me up, buy an album, check it out. Good music. Hope you like it. Anyway, all right, so with that, Lazy Tech Guys, the show is over. Let me go ahead and cue the ending music. Let me get slightly quieter as I reach over to turn the music up. There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys have a great day, and we're out. See you later.
Peace.